Welcome all, Kev the Movie Dealer here, and today I thought we'd have a nice little chat about the Harry Potter franchise. Now, I do really enjoy the Harry Potter franchise. Every couple years or so, I catch myself wanting to binge watch all 8 films, and every time I do, I quite enjoy myself. It's full of great characters, great world building. They're overall just a great time. And I have read the first 5 books, so I can't say I'm a super fan or a Potterhead, but I am a fan. That being said, I've always felt there was something really lacking in these movies. Now, like I said before, it's great characters, great stories, great world building. I don't want that to get lost to what we're talking about today. But I have to say, I have never really been a fan of the franchise's lead villain, Tom Riddle, aka Lord Voldemort. Now, I'm not saying the character from the book is a poorly designed villain. No, this character probably has the best build-up than any other character in fiction. I know that's saying a lot, but it's just how I feel. My main focus is talking about how the character was betrayed, specifically in films 4 through 8. I guess to sum it up, I have never been a fan of Ralph Fiennes' performance as Lord Voldemort. Now, I'm not here to talk about the actor himself. He's obviously incredible. He's one of the greatest actors of our time. I think him and Viggo Mortensen are probably the 2 biggest actors who've never won an Oscar, who probably should by now. But that being said, I know this is a bit of a hot take, but hear me out. This character has quite an extensive lore through the books, and Tom's backstory is quite interesting. But we are not here to talk about how the character is written in the books. Today we are talking about the betrayal of Voldemort through the last few films, and how his character never truly had screen presence in a franchise where most of the characters did. So let's start from the beginning with this interpretation of the Dark Lord. In the Sorcerer's Stone, the iconic scene of Hagrid telling Harry about his past and telling the boy the name of the man who killed his parents. Hagrid, who is already an intimidating presence, is so scared of this person, he could barely say his name. This perfectly laid out the foundation of the character of Lord Voldemort to the audience. This was an individual who was generally feared by the public, even though he was presumed dead for over 10 years. And with Hagrid's line, "Nope, I reckon he's still out there, too tired to carry on." This one line is telling the audience that this evil character will loom over every scene like a dark shadow. And that's really how it feels through all the films. We also get a few glimpses of him in the first 2 films, in terms of presence and personality. Both versions were stereotypical evil villains, but it worked for those first 2 films, which was clearly more family friendly. Then as the films went on, the more mature they became. And of course, we finally got to Goblet of Fire, which introduced Ralph Fiennes' Voldemort. And his whole resurrection scene is beautifully shot, and the structure of the whole scene in general is great. But there are little details in the direction of the scene that just didn't make the character seem all that scary or intimidating. For example, the first bit of dialogue we get from Voldemort is asking Wormtail to hold out his arm, but Wormtail holds out the wrong arm, and without hesitation, Voldemort snaps and says, "The other arm," with such annoyance. And then when the other Death Eaters enter the scene, Voldemort basically berates them for failing him. But it's not like Voldemort comes across as an intimidating boss-like figure. No, he comes across more as a spoiled brat nagging at the servants of the household. Side note, it always makes me laugh so hard to see just how much Lucius towers over Voldemort with his height. And there's literally a moment where he stands up and Voldemort has to tilt his head up because he's so tall. That's just always been so funny to me. So the rest of the scene is really Voldemort just taunting Harry and appearing to enjoy every moment, like nothing else matters. As if this is what it's all been about, just torturing this 14-year-old kid. You know, Voldemort should come across like he's got so many other things on his mind. He is the Dark Lord, who has dozens, maybe hundreds of followers. But for some reason, his main focus is to torture this boy. Harry should be like a side note to Voldemort, but throughout the films, it just kind of makes it seem like Harry is his main focus. Like, really, do we actually know what Voldemort's main goal is? If you've never read the books, like, you know he hates muggles and half-bloods, but it's just really frustrating because the films just make it seem like his main objective is to kill Harry Potter, this kid who he just can't get rid of. And that just doesn't make him a strong enough villain for me. And then in that first scene in Goblet of Fire, when Harry finally stands up for himself, it kind of comes across like they're evenly matched. Now, you could say Voldemort did not have his full powers yet, but the film doesn't tell you that. The movies say he is this all-powerful Dark Lord, but within his first scene, he comes across more as a spoiled man-child who can't control his emotions, and once again is unable to kill Harry Potter. And that's basically how you can describe the character in all the films. Now that I really think about it, does he really do anything in these movies that showcase how powerful of a wizard he truly is? Yes, of course we see him go toe-to-toe with Dumbledore, but that was such a short fight. And we really don't get to see Dumbledore fight other dark wizards to compare. It's a whole lot of tell, don't show when it comes to the power levels of these wizards. I mean, does Voldemort really come across as a being who hundreds of other Dark Lords would follow? I don't think so. But let's take a step back into screen presence. What I mean by that is whenever an actor who is playing a character appears on screen, you, the audience, are unable to take your eyes off of them. Their mere presence has you feeling like they are truly larger than life, even if they're just standing there. For example, when you are watching Chamber of Secrets and Lucius Malfoy appears on screen, it doesn't really matter what he is doing or what's going on. You are fully focused on him. The actor is making you feel like he is fully in control in what is happening. Another example is Professor Lupin in Prisoner of Azkaban. Same situation, but for a completely different character. Whenever Lupin is on screen, you, the audience, feel like he is fully in control and he knows what he is doing. You feel like Harry is truly safe with him and that Harry can learn so much from this man. Whenever these two characters are on screen for these two specific films, you are captivated with them. You just can't take your eyes off of them. Not only do they both have such larger-than-life presence, but for the most part, they always feel that they are in control. Obviously, you put the full moon aside, but you know what I mean. Could you really tell me, as a fan of the franchise, that Ralph Fiennes' Lord Voldemort has the same on-screen presence as these two characters did in their first films? For me, it's not even close. Now, you could be asking what I was looking for with this character. And really, to sum it up, I wanted a character that truly made me feel scared for Harry's safety. I wanted a character that I loved to hate. A character that feels like they were always in control, as if they knew what was going to happen. I actually think the best interpretation of Lord Voldemort is not from Sorcerer's Stone, and it's not from Chamber of Secrets, and it's definitely not from Ralph Fiennes. No. It's actually the two young actors who played Tom Riddle in Half-Blood Prince. These performances and direction of the character is exactly what I wanted to see. These two young men brought such uneasiness and terror with their performances. They feel like they're completely different characters from the adult version, and I love it. Tom comes across as intelligent, psychopathic, calm, and precise, as if he knows for sure what is going to happen, and no one can stop him. These characteristics is what helped make some of cinema's most iconic villains, like Hannibal Lecter, the Emperor, Heath Ledger's Joker, and so on. If I could pick a character from another franchise whose personality and presence is the best example of what I was looking for the Lord Voldemort character, honestly, I think I'd pick Vecna from Stranger Things. Yes, Henry. This character is such a terrifying force of nature, and you truly fear for the safety of the characters of the show. He is truly the stuff of nightmares, and you start to question at time, do our heroes really have a chance against this guy? And despite all that, you can't help to kind of love him whenever he shows up on screen. And that's really because of the Duffer Brothers and Jamie Bauer's performance. He's terrifying, but he's also really cool and interesting. This type of character direction is what Lord Voldemort should have been. Instead, what we got was this not so intimidating man-child whose end goal appears to just kill a minor. Look guys, I just want to reiterate again, I really enjoy the Harry Potter franchise. They're such amazing movies and kind of important movies in terms of cinema as a whole. And Ralph Fiennes, he's an incredible actor. There's so many movies he's done that I love. He is the real deal. But I just think the overall direction of this character and his presence and his personality and just what he brought to it was all wrong. And it's kind of a bit of an anchor for this franchise. It really drags it down. Just imagine if Voldemort was just as interesting as these other characters I mentioned, like Heath Ledger's Joker or Vecna and whatnot. You know, they're terrifying, but you kind of love them because you just love whenever they pop up on screen because they're cool, interesting, and just terrifying overall. I know I was a little repetitive in this video, but I just really want to get my point across here, guys. So that's going to do it for me today. Leave your comments below, hit that like and subscribe button, follow me on Letterboxd. It's just the movie dealer. Yeah, and tell me what you guys think about this. Am I off? Do you guys love Voldemort in the Harry Potter movies? I still think he's a very interesting character. I just think they didn't do the best job with him in these movies. Alright guys, I'll catch you later. Ciao.